Listen, us readers are delusional. We say we're going to try to read all the books on our TBR, but we know we're lying to ourselves. I know I'm lying to myself because I know my book buying will spiral out of control and my TBR will always be endless. But I thought today it would be kind of fun to go through all of the books that I have not read, and all the books that are on my TBR, which means to be read, and take them off my shelf, make a big old stack, see how tall it goes, see how many books it is. My guess is I've read 210 out of, I think I own around 350. Hopefully I've read more than that, but I thought I'd set the expectations really low. So let's get to taking off all the books, and then I'm going to move to the floor and have just stacks around me, go through them, tell you why I haven't read them, and also decide if I'm going to unhaul them or not, because I feel like I have a lot of books that have been on my shelf that I have not read that I probably will never read. So let's do that. Shall we? Hi, welcome to my floor. This stack's structural integrity is quite questionable. I've already had to rebuild it once. Thank God I quickly gave up on my architecture dream because that ain't happening. Yeah, I've got a stack here. Oh, I should count how many books first. Let's count how many books. So I have exactly 75 books I have not read out of, this is how many I own. So honestly, not as bad as I thought. 75 books is a reasonable amount, okay? It's semi-reasonable. It's still questionable, but let's go through before this falls again. So starting with the top, this feels like Jenga, but like a higher stakes Jenga because all the books will fall on me if they fall. Starting with The Wise One's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I have started this book. I am about halfway through. I'm on page 584 out of 1,107. And I started this back in March, and I kind of have stopped reading it. Like, I do love it. Like, I annotated it. I love Patrick Rothfuss's writing. It's stunning, but I just have not gotten into the adult fantasy mood again to pick this up, and I don't want to finish this because I don't want to have to wait for the third book to be released because it has been 11 years since this one has been released, and he still has not released the third one. So, yeah, that is the first book. I should probably move at a quicker pace or else we're going to be sitting here all day. Next, let's just Jenga this again. Next we have Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. Again, super thick. I did get the mass market just because there's something really satisfying about reading 1,252 pages of a mass market paperback. I don't know. But I know I will probably enjoy this. I was looking for books similar to The Name of the Wind, and I came across Brandon Sanderson's this book. Oh my god, it has illustrations in it. Pretty. I will eventually pick this up, but again, it's eventually, and they're long series, so I just have to be in the mood for a super long book, and lately I've just been in the mood for fun, cutesy short ones. Molly's Game is actually my current read, and it's by Molly Bloom. Molly's Game is one of my favorite movies ever. It's like a movie/documentary about Molly Bloom's life, and it is fascinating, and I am only 20 or 30, about 30 pages in, and I love it. It's just, I believe, an autobiography for the most part, and this is on my TBR because I'm currently reading it, but I haven't finished it. So I guess off my TBR because I'm currently reading it, but not really. Anyways, just slowly, oh, okay, these I can take the next 5 off. All the stacks are wobbling every single time I grab a book. Next we have The Underland Chronicles, which is a children's series, and I read these as a kid technically, but I don't remember anything, and so I just didn't really count it as me having read it because I plan to read them again, so that's on my TBR pile. A lot of people don't know that Suzanne Collins had written a children's series, but I, being the little narcissistic child I am, I was like, my last name is Collins. Suzanne Collins, I must read all of her books. So I read Hunger Games and Gregor and the Overlander series, and I remember really enjoying it. Me and my elementary best friend at the time really loved it, and I'm really excited to revisit the universe. Jesus Christ, no! Anyway, I'm really excited to revisit the universe. I just haven't yet because I'm going to film a video, possibly in 2023, possibly 2022, it kind of depends, but I want to read some of my childhood favorites. So these are the books I bought for that. Let me repair my stack. The next book I have that I haven't read is Delirium Stories by Lauren Oliver. And I hated the Delirium series, but I bought a box set because my coworker at work was like, it's so good, you'll love it, and I trusted her. This is the last time I ever trust anyone. I don't think I'll ever read these because I don't really care, but I don't know if I'll unhaul it either because, I don't know, they're like brand new, and they feel brand new, because they are. And I don't know if I want to just unhaul this tiny little book without like the rest of them. But then I also don't know if I want to unhaul the rest of them. But I will not read this book, so I probably should unhaul it. I'll think on it. We're going to continue taking from this questionable tower. Alright. Lockwood & Co., The Whispering Skull by Jonathan Stroud. I really enjoyed his first book. I did have to read it as an audiobook, but the narrator was British, and I really enjoyed that. But this was my high school best friend's favorite series, and originally I had actually planned to continue the series. However, we are no longer best friends, nor friends, so T-shade. And I don't know if I'll ever finish the series, but I did like the first one. I'm just not into like the spooky type of vibe. But who knows? The spooky season is up and coming, so who knows if this will make it on my fall TBR or not. I doubt it. If it stays on my TBR for another 2 years, I probably will unhaul it. But if I read it, then I'll keep it. So, no real reason other than I have just not a person who I don't want to think about associated with this book. So, isn't that cute? We love it. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne is one that I definitely might unhaul because I took out my bookmark after making it 45 pages in, and I was hating it, and I don't know if I'll ever return. This is another book where if I have it on my TBR for another year or two, I probably will unhaul if I don't pick it up, because I wanted it to be a fun, cute romance, and I got cringy writing and not great characters. Again, only 45 pages in before I DNF'd it. But I might unhaul it. I just have a thing about unhauling books. It's really hard for me to let go. So essentially, if I don't pick it up in the next year or two, I will unhaul it. Let's try to move to this stack now. And we have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I did this in my very first try a chapter. Like I tried the first chapter of this in my try a chapter video. I just have not been in an adult fantasy mood lately. So it has still just been stuck on my TBR. And I will eventually, I think, get to it. I don't feel like unhauling it. If I enjoy it, I will probably unhaul this and get a prettier cover. My parents gifted this to me for, I think, my 18th birthday, so it's been on my shelf for a few years, but the ugly cover is just putting me off. Next, we have two books in the Raven Cycle series, and that is by Maggie Stiefvater. We have Blue Lily Lily Blue and The Raven King. I bought these without any intention of actually reading them, simply because I really like how the spines look on the shelf, which is kind of ridiculous, I understand. But I think one day I might return to this series. I really enjoyed the first one, but then the second one put me in the biggest reading slump I've ever been in. So the desire to pick up the third one just wasn't it, even though I've heard the third one is one of the bests. So I think I will one day finish the series, just nowhere in the future, probably not in 2022, possibly 2023. We'll have to see, but I'm not unhauling these because they are stunning. Next, we have The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This was a book that I picked up because it apparently is similar to The Name of the Wind, which I love, and I bought the 10th special anniversary edition, and it's literally stunning. Look at the foiling, and it's hardcover without a dust jacket, which is kind of snazzy. And again, I just have not been in the mood for an adult fantasy. I've been liking YA and like super fun quick reads, and I haven't felt like diving into another universe, and I probably will pick up more adult fantasy once I finish the Wiseman Sphere, but honestly, who knows when that's gonna happen, if that ever even happens at this point. Neon Gods is one I have not picked up, but it is a smutty Persephone retelling. Just have not picked it up yet. No particular reason other than I just have not reached for it, because I have many books on my TBR. I do want to read this in 2022. It's kind of giving fall-esque vibes. I mean, the cover, at least, is kind of Halloween-y. Not the contents, per se, but perhaps I will put this on my fall TBR. A very vague and loose fall TBR. Like, I'm not even making a video or anything. I'm just going to be like, these are some books I should read before 2023. And this is one of them. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid is one that I definitely want to pick up before 2023 because I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, I say I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, but I've literally read one book from her. I've read Malibu Rising, and that might have been it. And everyone knows about the Seven Husbands. Everybody has read this. Everybody and their mother has read this. But I have not. So I need to get on the hype train. I just bought this recently, so hopefully soon I will be picking it up. Next, I have the first 3 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched the anime with my sister, really enjoyed it, decided let me pick up the manga too because I want to read it in line with the anime. Like, I don't think I want to get ahead on anything that happens, but while waiting for season 2, I wanted to dive into the manga and appreciate the origins of the anime. I just have not yet. Story of every one of these books. Next, I have Nightblade by Garrett Robinson, and I wish you could feel how heavy this tiny little paperback is. Big font, heavy pages. Again, it was a gift from my parents, so it wasn't really on my radar. I didn't even know it existed. It's a series, and I think the cover threw me off. Like, not to judge a book by its cover, but like, just because it's Amazon best-selling author, I don't know. Again, I just haven't reached for it. I have a lot of fantasy books, and the problem is I have a lot of fantasy books, and fantasy can sometimes all feel the same, so it's rare that I read like many fantasy books back to back to back, so I have so many still on my TBR. It's kind of ridiculous. Next we have I've read this. Next we have Altered and Unraveled, which is books 2 and 3 of the Cruel series, the Cruel World series. I should unhaul these because I'm never gonna read them. They were early 2010 dystopian type vibe. 2015, I'm good. Interesting concept. There's like weavers who basically have this big tapestry and each person is a thread and you can like rip out the threads to kill people. Kind of snazzy. But I don't think I'll ever return to this series. But the first book is pink, and then I have green and blue, or blue and green. I think Altered is the second book. But I don't think I'll ever return to it. But they look kind of cool in my rainbow shelf section. So I don't see myself unhauling these, but I don't see myself ever reading them either. I should have read these back when I bought them, and I think I tried to read the series like twice. Like I made it through the first book and halfway through the second and just stopped. So I own them. We'll see if I ever unhaul them. It is quite possible in the future that I will. But for the time, they look pretty in my rainbow shelf section. Sky in the Deep is another fantasy book that I have not picked up. I bought it for my book club in high school, and then the semester ended, and then the school year ended, and we never picked it up. And then I just have not had any urge to pick it up. Maybe one day. I do like the cover. It's pretty. I'm mostly talking about the cover because half of these I don't even know what are about. Oh my god! I have a bookmark in here too. Cute. That's fun. But yeah, Sky in the Deep. I doubt I'll read it this year. Again, if it stays on my TBR for like 2 or 3 years, like I probably will unhaul it. Fool Me Twice was a book that I read. Nope, I have not read. I bought in the beginning of this year, and it's a fun, cute, quick romance. It's like 200 pages? It feels like 200 pages. Holy crap. It is 225 pages. Super quick read. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I might pick it up by the end of the year if I'm looking for just a fun little filler book to get me out of a slump or something. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. Stick around and find out. I don't know what to tell you. I just haven't reached for it because I guess it is so short, and it was buried on my bookcase for a while. Flowers for Aldron was actually a book I bought, and I think in the same book haul as that. Possibly not. I don't remember. But I remember reading an excerpt of this in 8th grade and just wanting to cry. And I haven't felt the urge to cry, so I have not read this book because I don't know. I really want to read it. This book is written so cool. Because essentially this main character who's writing the book is really stupid. And like the book is written that way. So his spelling is really bad. His grammar is terrible, but then they inject him, I think, with something that makes him really smart. And the writing gets really, really good. And then I think it gets bad again before stuff happens. So I'm excited to pick this up. I do want to pick it up soon-ish. This doesn't feel like a fall read, but I want to read it soon because I just need to. This definitely has moved up my TBR. I keep looking at it and just not reading it, but I should just read it. What a concept. Why didn't I think of that before? Circe is a book that I tried in my recent Try a Chapter video, and it was okay. I just didn't really get into it, and I think this is a book I have to like sit down and get into. I've heard it's good. I don't know if it's for me though, so I'll keep it in case I do ever read it, but I think the golden rule, again, 2 or 3 years on my TBR and it's out. To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf is one that I picked up recently because they mentioned this book in the movie Nerve, and I like that movie. And this is a classic, and I wanted to try to pick up a classic possibly this year, so this might be it because it's really short, and I think I could handle a short 200-page classic. We don't know. Haven't picked this one up either because I clearly don't want to know the answer to Why We Sleep, but I wanted to pick this up because I don't dream. Okay, I don't dream. Every time I say I don't dream, people are like, you just don't remember your dreams. It's like, okay, bestie, I don't remember my dreams then. And I have the shittiest of shitty sleep schedules. But no need to call me out on that. This was just a book that I wanted to read for education, and Mr. Matthew Walker has a PhD and I don't, so I just haven't got around to reading it. And I Darken was a book that I thought was about vampires. It is not about vampires. I don't know if I'll ever pick this up. This has definitely been on my TBR for 2 years. Yikes. If I don't pick it up next year, it's getting the boot, because I have so many fantasy books that I feel like are the same that I need to just pick the ones that are the most, not necessarily the most hyped, but the most talked about or have like the best ratings, because I trust the other readers in the world, and so I don't want to waste my time with a book that isn't very good. Have I read this one? I might have read this one in high school. I don't remember. The fact that I don't remember if I've read this or not, I'm pretty sure I've read a Karen McManus book before, and I think it was this one, but I don't remember it, so did I really even read it? Ah, yes. Another Patrick Rothfuss book. It's a tiny thing, but this will be read after The Wise Man's Fear, so basically give me 4 to 5 years. Yeah, it is about a character named Ari, and I am very excited to read it once I finish The Wise Man's Fear. That hasn't happened yet, and we don't have to talk about it. This was a recent purchase. I think I bought it last month, 2 months ago. Could be 3 months ago by this point, but clearly I don't want to know the easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones, clearly. Again, on the same vein of why I bought Why We Sleep, was basically to help me in life. I haven't read it because I haven't felt like it. That's literally me with all of these books. I haven't read it because, you know, I'm a mood reader, so if I'm not in the mood, I'm never going to read it. This is a book I'll never read, though, and that is A Map of Days. Have I read this one? Wait a minute. I might have read this one, too. I'm pretty sure I've read this one. And if not, I don't plan on returning to the Peregrine series. I definitely read... Oh, my foot's going numb. Oh, shit. I definitely picked up the Miss Peregrine series because it was Jesse the reader's favorite series, and he was my favorite booktuber, so that's why I read it. It was not my favorite thing, but I tried to like it because he loved it so much. But I won't continue the series. I do kind of want to buy the 5th one just for my collection looks pretty, because the spines honestly are stunning. But I'll just never read it. Legends of the Sky is probably one I will also never read because the cover is just so off-putting. My ex-best friend bought it for me because my favorite author is John Flanagan, and this is by Liz Flanagan, and she thought that was funny. However, if I wanted a book about dragons, I would read the Aragon series, so that's that on that. The Wealthy Barber was a book that someone gave me about being financially independent. Just look at the cover. Does that answer your question? H2O is one I've technically read, but it's same as the Underland Chronicles. I'm wanting to reread it because I don't remember anything really. I definitely remember it better than the Gregor and the Underland series, but again, I'm going to read this in one of my like middle school, childhood kind of type of videos. I think that'll be fun. Now that my spine has been realigned, I think I just need to accept that I will not be reading any more Rick Riordan books. I love the main Percy Jackson series, and I love the Heroes of Olympus series. Like, I love that series so much. But I think I gave Red Pyramid a try and didn't like it. And then I just don't think I could get into it. I think I read the first one, The Sword of Summer, so we're going to toss that aside because I'm pretty sure I've read that. I just didn't pick up the second book, and I don't know if I ever will. The Norse mythology in this just wasn't my favorite. I think I just need to give up on these and unhaul them, but I'm sentimental about Rick Riordan, which is ridiculous because I've read 2 of his series out of like the 5 he's written. Revenge Wears Prada and When Life Gives You Lululemons are by Lauren Weisenberger, and they are books 2 and 3 of the Devil Wears Prada series. Now, I did not enjoy the Devil Wears Prada. I think I 3-starred it, but I do plan on continuing the series. I just haven't really been in the mood for it because I know the writing's going to be questionable, but I am fascinated to get to this one, which is the 3rd book, because it's about Emily, who's kind of like the snarky assistant, and I just want to see what becomes of her in the book series, because we're never going to get like a Devil Wears Prada sequel like the movie I'm obsessed with. We're never going to get a sequel, so I think it'd be cool to figure out what happens through the books. My camera is dying, so I need to like rapid fire these last 25. The Twilight series. One day I'll read these. I keep trying to pick up New Moon and saying I'm going to pick up New Moon, and I don't pick up New Moon. But when I read these, I will make a vlog. It'll probably be maybe end of 2022 I'll pick up New Moon, and then 2023 I'll pick up the next ones. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber is one that I'll be picking up very soon. I'm filming this early September, and I haven't picked it up, but the Ballad of Never After is coming out, and I probably will pick it up once that comes out. I love Stephanie Garber's writing, but this is definitely on my fall TBR. Shadow of the Fox and A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I know they're by different authors and have nothing to do with one another, but I have the same excuse for why I haven't read these. They're both fantasy, and that's it. I just have a lot of fantasy books, and I literally know what none of them are about, but they all feel the same. One of Us Is Lying, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Both mystery. I don't really read that much mystery, so I don't really reach for it. But I might have to do some sort of fall mystery type video because I have a lot of, I say a lot. I have so many mystery books on my TBR. Simply so many. Panic by Lauren Oliver. I believe I read Before I Fall All in One Day, and I kind of enjoyed it in like a low expectation sort of way. So I'm interested to pick up Panic. The concept is interesting. I almost unhauled it, but then there's some sort of legendary game played by graduating seniors, which feels very similar to Nerve with like that whole game element. So maybe I'll pick it up for like a fun quick read in the fall. We'll see. Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance I bought because they were hyped, I believe, on TikTok, and the covers are stunning, the spines are stunning, everything about them are stunning, but again, fantasy. Need I say more? Ready Player 2. I loved Ready Player 1 when it came out in theaters. I literally watched the movie 3 times in theaters, which is like super excessive. And I read the book very quickly, and I enjoyed it, and I want to reread the first one before going into the second one. I know the second one has a really bad rep and people didn't like it, but I still want to read it. I have to stop ending all my sentences with, so there's that. But here we are. Steel Striker and Sky Hunter, or Sky Hunter and Steel Striker. These are books by Mary Lou, who is one of my favorite authors that I like impulse buy for. Also, look at these edges. They're cool. I just have not got around to actually picking them up because I have not been in the mood, but I love Mary Lou's Legend series, and I really love her Warcross and Wildcard duology. I did pick up The Young Elites, and honestly it was a mistake, and I unhauled that book because it is garbage, or I'm going to unhaul it. It's behind me, but it will be unhauled because I did not like it. Sadie is one that I think got hyped on Book Talk, or maybe I heard that it got hyped on something, and I bought it used. I have no idea what it is nor what it is about, but we're gonna keep it and move on. I just haven't reached for it. I don't know what to tell you. The Dawn of Yangchen and The Shadow of Kyoshi, flip the order of these. These are the next 2 books in the Avatar like prequel series about avatars before Aang, which is what the Avatar The Last Airbender TV series follows. And I loved the first one, which was The Rise of Kyoshi. But I was waiting for the 3rd one to release before I read some more, and then I kind of just fell out of the mood for them, but I do want to pick them up eventually, and I know I will love them because I love Avatar so much. I just have not been in the mood to pick them up because I want to make sure I'm in the mood before I pick them up. Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron are books that I do not want you to bully me into reading, people, because I will read them. They are on my December TBR actually, because the next book is coming out in January, and I believe it's only going to be a trilogy, And I didn't want to wait and be tortured because Cassandra Clare is one of my all-time favorite authors. And not just because she shares the same name as me and I'm totally narcissistic, but because she genuinely writes such good characters and I love her universe and I have since middle school, so I'm sentimental and very attached to how the universe works with Shadowhunters. And I will be reading those and I will be buying the third one. I just have not yet. It is on my December TBR, so I will read it before 2022 is up. Just because I like Cassie Clare does not mean I like all her books, especially the ones she co-writes with other authors. I read the Tales of a Shadowhunter, Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, and I freaking one-starred that book. I hated it so much. It really ruined the character. I have no plans on reading this. Like, I might... Like, never say never, but I probably won't. But this cover is phenomenal, and I wish there was space on my bookshelf to have it forward-facing because I am in love with this cover, and that is the only reason I bought it. Fun fact. These Violent Delights, why did I almost drop that? These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends are two that Chloe Gong got popular on Book Talk, and I know I will enjoy this because I believe I got like 100 pages in, and then it was due at the library, and I didn't have time to finish it. So I did buy the first and the second one with plans to read it. I just don't know when. Oh no, you can see my restacking of books. The entire Aragon series, minus the first one, I plan to one day pick up. I'll slowly read through this series, or maybe I'll binge it all. There's really no in between. Either I'm going to take months in between each book, or I'm going to just speed read it once I get into the second one. But I do want to know what happens. Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard, I think, want to pick up. I did start it. Like, I got 20 pages in. It has a really pretty map. I've literally drawn this map for my August bullet journal last year, and I had plans to read it after I finished the Red Queen series by her. Just didn't. And again, another fantasy book that I have not read. And some more fantasy books that I have not read is The Devil's Thief and The Serpent's Curse. These covers are literally my favorite thing. These books are my favorite thing, and I have not read them. It is so funny. The Last Magician was literally stunning. I loved that book so much. However, my sister read the third one and was like, wait to read it because it ends on like a massive cliffhanger, and I trusted her. So I'm going to reread the first one, the second, and the third whenever the fourth one comes out, which is in December. So this is on my December TBR. They're so thick, and I'm so excited because I really, really enjoyed the first one from what I recall. And these books and the cover designs are stunning. Literally stunning. So even if I hate the series, like, I'm buying the fourth one. Period. XOXO by Axio is one that I plan to read in 2022. I have such a fun video plan for this. I just have yet to pick it up because I need to find materials for something that I'm doing in the vlog where I read this. Yeah, my K-pop obsession has spanned to books. Then we have Smoke in the Sun. This is the second book in the series, and I thought it was the first, but it is the second, which is probably why I haven't picked it up. And then next, these are actually on my September TBR, and that is the Hawthorne Legacy and the Final Gambit, which is the second and third in the Inheritance Games trilogy. Cover designs are stunning. Props to the artist. This is on my September TBR, like I mentioned. I just have not read them yet. I need to either reread the first one or find some sort of summary, but they are books that I will be reading very soon. I just have not yet. Those are all the books I have not read. My whole physical TBR. Now, to tell you how ridiculous this is, this took me 40 minutes to film. Technically an hour because I scrapped the first take of this. And yeah, my book stack fell over twice. This is ridiculous. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see me get through this TBR pile. I'm not completely delusional in thinking that I can get through this entire TBR, or I guess my TBR in general, but I will be unhauling books in the future, just depending on how long they sit on my TBR. Let me know if there's any on my TBR that you think I should move up my TBR list. Like, I have like a vague TBR list, but if there are any books that I mentioned in passing that are one of your favorite series, let me know down below. I'm very curious to see if some of these are hyped and I didn't even realize it, or if you just want me to read one of your favorite books, because I am totally down to do that. Again, I really hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already, like the video if you enjoyed, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Toodles!